Today we're going to be talking about how to stop shrinking yourself in rooms where you should shine. And I know some people will be like, do I shrink myself in rooms where I should shine? I believe that after I finish talking, you would know, because I know that a lot of us do, a lot of females do, okay? And I'm going to be giving you practical examples to show you how you've been shrinking yourself, okay? If you don't know, I'm going to give you those practical examples. The very first example is, number one, you have an idea in a meeting, but you don't want to speak out because you don't want to sound foolish. You don't want to sound like, oh, I don't have sense, that kind of thing. You have an idea in a meeting, but you say nothing. Okay. And I'm giving this example because, of course, I'm majorly talking to ambitious ladies, career ladies who are trying to find that balance between being feminine and humble and being a go-getter in their businesses. Okay, you have an idea in a meeting, you say nothing, or they ask, who can lead this project, who can lead this movement, but you step back because you are afraid, even though you are capable. Okay, and this is something that Sheryl Sandberg said in her book Lean In. If you've not read that book, please go read it. It's especially for women like you and me who are ambitious and who are also trying to find their feminine, basically. Okay, so she talked about how a lot of times when an opportunity comes up, a lot of times in organizations, the men, even men who are not skilled in that thing, would actually raise their hands and sign up, okay, to take on that task. But a lot of women, even though they are capable, will not sign up to take that task. Okay, they would wait till maybe they are called, or they would hesitate until it's given to someone else. Okay, so that book basically is talking about leaning in, okay, leaning into who you are as a woman and leaning into your career, taking charge. Okay, so please go read that book. Okay, that book is a blessing, right? So another example of shrinking is maybe you get complimented on something. Maybe, oh, I love your dress, and you say, this dress, it's old. Or maybe you get complimented on a project, and instead of saying, oh, thank you very much, you say, it's nothing. Or a lot of us also, you avoid eye contact when speaking. I've seen this a lot of times, even with my staff. Whenever I'm speaking to some of them, I notice that they avoid eye contact, or they look away, or they, it's just weird, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, look at me when I'm talking to you. Do you understand? I'm not saying you should stare people down like, hey, be creepy and all that. But I mean, you understand what I'm saying? When you're speaking to your friends, you know how you normally look at them, you look away, you look at them, that kind of thing. So you avoid eye contact because you don't want to be rude, or you make yourself less loud, okay, so that you're not seen as too much. Okay, I know that a lot of us are guilty of this one, because I am also guilty. Not that I am loud on a normal day, but I used to be that person that does not want to make too much noise. I don't want people to think that I'm too much. I don't want them to think I'm feeling myself too much and all that stuff. Now, this video is saying, learn to stop shrinking yourself in rooms where you are supposed to shine. Okay, that is majorly what the video is about, and I'm going to give you a few points to sort of change our psychology, our perception about this idea of shrinking yourself. The reason why I gave you these examples is to understand when that happens. Okay, you need to understand when you have begun to shrink yourself, because to be honest with you, a lot of times we don't even know that we're shrinking ourselves. Okay, when these things happen, we don't even know. So that is the reason why I gave you these examples, okay, to understand that, look, when these kind of things happen, it is possible that you are actually shrinking yourself, or trying to, be less than who you are, so that people don't think that you're too loud. Okay, that's why I gave you those examples. Now we're going to talk about some mindset shifts that you need to start employing or applying in order to stop shrinking yourself. Now, the very first point that I'm going to give you is, you are not here by mistake. Okay, even the Bible says that the steps of the righteous one is ordered by God. And so whenever I have an opportunity, right? Whenever I have an opportunity, or I find myself in a place, I tell myself, look, my steps are ordered by God. The steps of a righteous man, the steps of a righteous woman are ordered by God. And because I am a child of God, my steps are ordered by God. And so I am meant to be here. And I believe with all my heart that because God has ordered my steps here, I am going to benefit everything that He wants me to benefit in this place that I am in, right? And so whenever I go into somewhere, into a room, I tell myself I am not here by mistake. I was hired, I was invited, or I was called for a reason. And so I should stop second guessing my presence. So that's the very first thing. Tell yourself, I am not in this room by mistake, okay? And I need you to put your hand on your chest and say, I am not here by mistake, okay? Now, the second mindset, the second mindset that I'm going to give you is that shrinking does not serve anyone. Okay, I need that. I really need that to sink in. Shrinking does not serve anyone. And I can boldly tell you this because I used to be that person that would say, I want people to feel good around me. I want people to feel comfortable around me. And so I'm going to shrink myself so that people would feel good. But do you know what that does? That hides your light. When you try to play small in order to make others feel comfortable, playing small does not make others feel comfortable. It actually hides your light. And the problem with that is that you don't realize that when you shine, others shine too. As a woman, when you give yourself the permission to shine and to excel, you are allowing others to shine too. I'll give you a typical example. Look at somebody like Ibukun Awoshika, right? She's shining, she's smashing goals. She has been smashing goals for years and years and years, hitting her goals, shining from one dimension of glory to another dimension of glory. And she has been speaking into the lives of women as well. Now, what would have happened if she did not allow herself to shine? Do you get what I'm saying? Now, because she has allowed herself to shine, because she has allowed the glory of God to shine through her life, a lot of women like us who are inspired by her are now given permission to shine. And so, because she has given herself permission to shine, she has also given you and I the permission to shine. And the Bible says it, that you cannot have a candle and put it under a bed. You cannot have a candle and hide it, right? You cannot have something that is beautiful and hide it. Let's say you're a jewelry seller. Okay, one of my companies, I sell jewelry. I make and sell beaded jewelry, Ankara souvenirs and everything. Now, if I make those pieces of jewelry and I hide them in my house, who is going to see it? Who is going to buy them? Right? So because I have this talent, I have to show it, right, in order for people to see and buy and also be blessed by it. And so while I am being blessed by my shining, other people are being blessed by my shining, by my skills. Okay, and that is what happens when you shine in your organization, in your corner. Make sure that you are not shrinking yourself and stopping yourself from shining, because the Bible talks about it, where it says in the Bible that how does it say it now? It talks about how mankind is waiting anxiously for the manifestation of the children of God. Now, what that means is that there are people that are waiting for you to manifest the glory of God in your life so that they can also be blessed. And in return, when they are blessed, of course, what happens? They are also given the permission to shine, just like I gave you an example of Madam Ibukun Awoshika. Now, because she's shining, a lot of women are also shining. Okay, so I'm hoping that this second mindset shift, because I don't know how to massage it into your subconscious, okay, that you should not shrink. Shrinking does not help anybody. It does not help you, does not help me, does not help all those women and men that are looking up to you, all those boys and girls looking up to you in your corner, whether you're a teacher, you're an entrepreneur, you're a career person, 9 to 5, I am talking to you. Shrinking does not help anyone. So stop being quiet in order to make people feel good. The third thing that I would tell you is speak with intention, not apology. And now this is something that I tell everybody that has worked under me. Okay, a lot of my staff that have worked under me now, they are majorly Gen Z. Okay. And I totally love the Gen Z generation, don't get me wrong, but a couple of females that have worked under me or that are working under me, I normally tell them, feel free to speak out. Now, I'm not saying you should be rude or arrogant, but feel free to tell me what you think, because one thing about hiring people is we hire smart people so that they can tell us what to do. I don't want to hire a smart person and keep telling them what to do from A to Z. Do you understand? I hired you because you're smart and I feel like you can be a good addition to my organization. And so if you are going to be a good addition to my organization, I need to listen to you. But in order for me to get what you are saying, you also have to speak out. Do you understand? And so speak with intention, not apology. I noticed one thing about my staff, one of them especially, or let's just say two, one is female and one is male. Before they start speaking, let's say they raise their hands, maybe in a Zoom meeting or when we're meeting physically, when they raise their hands, I noticed that these particular people, especially the lady, she says sorry before she starts speaking. The lady says sorry before she starts speaking, and I'm like, why? What are you sorry for? Sometimes it just comes out of my mouth. I'm like, because I say, okay, you go ahead, speak. I call her name. Let's say maybe Eva. I say, okay, Eva, go ahead and speak. And then she's like, oh, sorry, I just wanted to. And I'm like, why are you sorry? What are you sorry for? You raised your hand. You want to speak. Speak. Do you understand? You don't have to apologize. Okay, and instead of saying I might be wrong, but I just want to say I believe that this, or you can say from my experience, or in my experience, this is how I think we should do this, or this is what I have noticed in situations like this, and so I suggest that we do this. Not saying I might be wrong, but I feel like no. Speak with intention. Okay, and that brings me to my next point. My next point is something that goes, confidence is not arrogance. And I tell this to people a lot, especially those timid females that feel like, oh, if I speak out for myself, it is me being arrogant. And I know this because I used to be that kind of person. As a matter of fact, years ago, every time maybe I come out of a situation or something happens, maybe at work or in my business or maybe with my friends even, I call my boyfriend and I'm like, oh, this is what I did in this situation. This person said this and this person said that, and I did this and I didn't do this. And in the end, I would ask him, do you think I was arrogant? And he's like, why are you asking me that question? Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, I hope I didn't hurt this person too much by saying what I wanted. I hope I didn't hurt this person too much by asking for what I deserve. Or maybe when I ask my boss for something, I'm like, oh, I call my boyfriend and I'm like, now that I'm thinking about it, that dude really suffered. He went through a lot, because every time I do something, okay, or I address a situation, or back then, even when maybe I speak to my staff, maybe we're having an appraisal or something, normally I would sit down with my staff and then talk to him or her about some things that I'm not comfortable with and everything. And then I would go back home and I would call my BF and I'm like, do you think I was arrogant? This is what I did. This is what I did. This is what I did. And he's like, of course you're not arrogant. You employed this person and you're just trying to tell them what you expect and what you're not happy with and what you're okay with and everything. So speaking out is not arrogance. And I'm not saying you should be rude. I'm not saying you should cut people off. Of course, you have to learn how to speak. And of course, you have to speak with emotional intelligence. That is very, very important. Recently, I told a colleague of mine to try not to yell when she's speaking to us, okay? And I meant it because, this is someone I absolutely love. But I have noticed that because she wants to pass across a point and maybe she's impatient about it, or she feels like, okay, this is something you should know, or she feels like, okay, this is not how you should have done this thing. Most of the time, she raises her voice. And I explained to her that, look, if you keep raising your voice at people, people are going to get fed up. You're going to kill their spirits, right? You're going to frustrate people because we think differently, okay? Not everybody thinks the same way that you think. So you need to be patient enough to pass across your information clearly, because if you don't pass across the information clearly and all you do is shout, guess what? We will still do the wrong thing, because we didn't understand you. So when I say confidence is not arrogance, I am not saying become arrogant. I am saying be confident. I've given you examples. When you are given an opportunity to speak or to do something, do it with confidence. Be sure of yourself, okay? And I totally believe that if you are skilled for something and you're sure of yourself, then the sky is not even your limit. The sky is your starting point. And from saying that, the next point that I will tell you is practice visibility. Now, I give you a lot of stories about myself because most of these points are points from lessons I have learned for myself. There are lessons that I have learned over the course of my life. Don't worry, I'm not old, but I'm not young either. Okay, so I used to be this kind of person that did not like to be seen, okay? As a matter of fact, growing up, I used to tell my friends how I used to be my brother's number one fan, okay? He was a genius, he was amazing, and I felt comfortable being his number one fan. I felt comfortable singing his praises and just being in the back end. Even when I started working both in church, as a worker in church, as a worker, a 9-to-5 worker and all that in the companies I have worked, I never really used to like to be in front, to show myself. Even in church, I remember the first time I was asked to lead a solo, it was crazy. It was crazy. The first time I was asked to lead praise and worship, it was crazy. I was sweating in my palms and everything, and I have really dry palms, so for sweat to actually come out in my palms, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. It means a whole lot. And at a point, things started shifting. I feel like one of the very first times that this mentality shifted in me was when I was hired to be the choir director in my church. At some point I grew so much that I became a zonal choir director. But I remember the very first time that I was made a choir director in my church, before then, I was an assistant director and I loved my position, okay? I used to tell my family and friends, I don't like being the number one person. I prefer to be the number two person, so that the number one person will be the one that will give the instruction. Then me, the number two person, will now be the one that will go and tell everybody. Okay, so that was the highest level of leadership that I wanted. I never wanted to be number one, okay? But at some point, I think it was when the choir manager actually I think he relocated or something, and then I, as the assistant, was now appointed to be the number one, okay? A lot of things shifted in my mind then about leadership, okay? And to be honest with you, it was very rough at first, because one thing about humans, when you first give a human being power, the person is tempted to want to use arrogance to actually show themselves, and all that. It's not because the person is actually proud or arrogant. Sometimes the person is just trying to understand the whole thing about power and leadership and all that. But then, of course, I asked God for help. I asked God for His grace, and He was able to help me, and I became a better leader with time. So what I'm trying to say is practice visibility. If you're skilled in something, don't hide yourself. Now, while I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself, because before I started MLZ, I'm telling you that it took about 4 years, okay? 4 years to start this channel. Okay, it took about 4 years because I have been battling. I don't know if it's a spirit or something. I had been battling with the spirit of imposter syndrome for over 4 years. I started one channel in the year 2020 and it was going great, but for some reason, this spirit just appears from nowhere and starts telling you how you don't know anything. What do you want to say to people? Who do you think you are? Trust me, I was watching Dan Martell some time ago and he said it. Okay, Dan Martell is somebody that has blessed my life for a very long time. So for him to have said it, it means that I'm not less of a human. It means that these people out there are not superhuman either. These are people who have decided to damn the consequences and face their fears and just come before you. Okay, and I'm not just talking about YouTube. I'm talking about in many areas of your life, okay? In all these areas of your life where you need to show yourself, practice visibility. And how to practice visibility is, number one, sit at the front. When you go for an event and you go for your staff meeting or whatever it is, sit at the front if given the opportunity, okay? Sit at the front, ask the question. If you're given credit for something, accept the credit, okay? Take the credit, receive it. And of course, I'm not saying you should be arrogant about it. Of course, we do all things through Christ that strengthens us, okay? You're not doing it by your power, you're doing it by the power of God, but take the credit. Now, the reason why I'm saying you should accept it is because the more you try to be visible, the more you show up, the easier it becomes. Coming from someone that has tried to set up different YouTube channels, I can tell you, the more you show up, the easier it becomes, okay? Now, I know I've taken so much of your time, but I'm going to give you one last point, okay, before you go, and that is my 6th point. My last point is prepare yourself mentally before you get into the room, okay? And when I say room, I mean more figuratively than literally, okay? Because when I say room, I'm not talking about a room per se. I'm talking about an opportunity. I'm talking about a space, okay? You need to prepare yourself mentally. Now, there's somebody that said that if you were to meet somebody like Dangote now, because I know that a lot of people are like, oh, if I should meet Dangote now, I'll tell him this, I'll tell him that. If I should meet Tony Elumelu, I'll tell him this, I'll tell him that. My dear, are you prepared? To be honest with you right now, I'm not even prepared. I'm not even hoping to meet them. Yes, I found myself during the Afrexim event, I found myself in the same place as them. Okay, people were walking up to them, taking selfies with them, you know, speaking to them, networking with other people and all that. But to be honest with you, I told my friend who went to take a selfie with Tony Elumelu that, man, I don't think I'm ready to be in the presence of that man. And she was like, why? I said, look, because I'm not ready yet, okay? Personally, I feel like I'm not ready yet. Not because he is a superhuman or something, but because there is a preparation I need to do in order to meet people like that, so that when I appear in front of them, I give them value. Natalie Dawson was talking about how she had to prepare herself to be the kind of person rather, that some people that she's interested in would want to be friends with. She talked about how she really wanted to be friends with Elena, and she knew deep down inside her heart that, look, the kind of woman I am now, Elena would not really want to be friends with me. And so I have to prepare myself to be the kind of person that Elena would want to be friends with. And guess what? She did. And guess what? Right now, they are really, really good friends. So what I'm saying is, what I mean by prepare mentally before the room is prepare yourself mentally for such opportunities to come your way. If there are skills that you want to learn, go learn those skills, okay? If there are courses that you need to take those courses. If you need to prepare mentally in terms of affirmations, like I have my own personal affirmations. I also have a channel of affirmations, which I will probably share with you in the comment section. I prepare myself with affirmations. I say things like, I bring value to this space. I bring value to this company. Okay, personal affirmations like, I am safe to be seen and to be heard. Okay, I deserve to be seen and to be heard. I am safe to be seen and to be heard. Okay, my life attracts on a daily basis extremely wealthy people who are generous to me beyond my imagination. Now, this last one is one I say almost every day. I have a line of affirmations that I say every day. Okay, I don't care what you think about it, but I say these affirmations every day and they work for me when I go out. Okay, I talk about, the Bible talks about how our barns would be filled with gifts. So I also talk about it that, look, my barns are full and overflowing with good gifts from kings and queens and princes and princesses with whom I relate by the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of God. Now, what am I doing? I am preparing myself for the day. I am preparing myself for where I get into spaces where I meet these people. In the beginning of this video, I was talking about how our steps are ordered by God. The Bible says that the steps of the righteous will be ordered by God. And so when my steps are ordered by God and I see these kings and queens, of course, I need the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding of God in order to be able to relate with these kings and queens and princes and princesses. So when I say prepare mentally before the room. I think that this is a full topic on its own. Okay, I'm just summarizing these little nuggets I'm giving you. When I say prepare mentally before the room, I am saying prepare yourself, whatever it means, in your own space, to be prepared for the room, which could be an opportunity, a stage, a dimension, a level in your life, a career path. I am saying that you need to prepare yourself. Okay, and when I say prepare mentally, it could mean mentally, it could mean physically. If you need to change your dressing in order to fit the position that you're trying to get to, then change your dressing. If you need to change the way you speak, a friend told me a few months ago that he wanted to learn business communication. To be honest with you, at that time he told me, it didn't really dawn on me that there are courses like that, but he told me, I want to learn business communication because of where I'm headed. And I was really proud of him. Okay, so whatever it is that you need to do to prepare yourself, whatever preparation means to you, that's what I'm trying to say. Whatever preparation means to you, prepare. For some people, preparation means changing their wardrobe. For some people, preparation means reading a book. By the way, I forgot to show you guys the book I'm reading this month. It's actually a reread or something I'm reading again. I'll probably drop the link in the comment section. Now, what I'm saying is, whatever it is you need to do. My friend Cynthia, some months ago, after she graduated from one of the numerous schools that she has gone to, like, she's always training herself, always developing herself. She's amazing. I'm gonna drop her link in the comment section so you guys can go check her out on Instagram and on social media. When she finished bagging that degree, and we're talking about it in my car, we're about to go somewhere, and we decided to use one car to go. When we were talking about it, she was like, okay, next thing I'm going to do now is, I think she mentioned digital marketing or something like that. And I was like, babe, like, we haven't even recovered from the distinction you got in this school, and you're already moving on to the next. And she was like, yeah, like, seriously, this is the time to gather all those skills. And I totally agree with her, and I'm so proud of her because she's a go-getter, right? So what I'm saying is, she knows where she's headed, she knows the room that she's headed, and she's preparing herself. So I'm speaking to you today, my sister. Whatever it is that preparation means for you, I know that you have been lackadaisical about making the decision. You have been dilly-dallying, you've been procrastinating, but I want you to see this as your sign. Okay? I want you to see this as your sign to get up from your butt and go prepare for that opportunity that is coming your way. Now, if you like any of these things that I have said, please hit the like button, and I would really love it if you could subscribe to my channel. I am seriously serious. Okay, I need for more people to get this message. I need for more women to be inspired by this message. So please hit the like button, please press the subscribe button. I am bringing out more and more inspiring content for you, more things for us to talk about. And if there's anything you would like me to discuss, or you would like us to discuss, maybe on my live sessions and all that, please let me know. Also, I'll be coming live once in a while in the coming weeks, so please hit the notification bell so that you know when I'm coming live. Thank you very much for staying till the end of this video. Take care of you and have a lovely week.